Last night, the Steelers lost to the Patriots in the most gut-punching way ever. Immediately upon the interception happening, I turned off the TV and sat there on my couch in silence. I felt like I was going to throw up. Anyone who has experienced this before knows how awful of a feeling this is. It was at that moment where I was searching to figure out what to do next to not continue to feel this way. I certainly wasn't going to go put the TV back on or jump on social media. That would only be pouring salt in the wound. Instead, I decided to finish reading a book that I had started earlier in the week. It was Victor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, which came on recommendation from so many thought leaders in Tim Ferriss's Tribe of Mentors book. Not that the Steelers' loss could ever compare to what Frankl went through in his book, but the application of the lessons were spot on. There are two quotes that really stood out. You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can always control what you will feel and do about what happens to you. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. It is difficult to not have a constant loop of what just happened play in your head. However, you get to choose to not suffer through that loop or focus on something else. After finishing the book, there was still an hour left in my night. To try and keep the positive reinforcement loop going, I decided to do a 12-minute guided meditation session of a new app I'm using called Primed Mind. My goal of doing this was to take control of my emotions, slow things down, get out of my head, and get back to even. That ended up accomplishing the task as I felt lighter and less emotionally unstable afterwards. I get that finishing reading a heavy book and then meditating after a gut-punching loss is not normal. I'd never done that before last night. However, I knew that I didn't want to let the emotional negativity and cloud of the loss linger with me. In life, we all have the option to choose how we feel. It's not always going to be puppy dogs and rainbows, and it's at those times in which the times are the toughest that you have a choice. Am I going to let this bother me, or am I going to find a way to get past this and move on? I'll leave you with a passage from one of my favorite books, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It says, you can always remind yourself, I am in control, not my emotions. I see what's really going on here. I'm not going to get excited or upset. Whenever you feel the anxiety begin to come on, I'm not going to die from this. I'm not going to die from this. I'm not going to die from this. Take your situation and pretend it's not happening to you. Pretend it is not important, that it doesn't matter. How much easier would it be for you to know what to do? How much more quickly and dispassionately could you size up this scenario and its options? You could write it off. Greet it calmly.